kisses to comfort each other. So the US military has carried out an 11 airstrikes over Iran, but it's done nothing to break the control of the regime in Tehran, nor has it lent any great protection to shipping in the Persian Gulf. In fact, we've been reporting in the last few minutes that renewed strikes in Jordan. Most generals will tell you that safety can only be guaranteed with a ground invasion, which is not going to happen. But it is pushing the White House towards far riskier choices. President Trump has been indicating this week that they soon begin targeting the 45 Pickaxe Mountain, which Iran says would spur a much wider response. And then there's the money. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told the Senate yesterday that the war has already cost $37.5 billion. The Pentagon wants upwards of $70 billion to finish the job.
Iran is at the weakest point militarily it has ever been in the past decade. Certainly, maybe in 47 years, as they've gathered effectively a terror army. So I acknowledge they still have capability, there's no doubt. But the amount of damage that we've done to them over the course of these series of operations has put them in the worst place they've ever been.
Which puts Congress in an uncomfortable spot. Prove a blank check for an open-ended war with no clear endpoint, or push back and be blamed for underfunding the troops mid-conflict. Let's go forward on that. Triumph is the US politics correspondent for The Guardian. So $37.5 billion so far. What's been the response on the Hill to that?
Well, as you mentioned, there's been a big and swift pushback for a number of lawmakers, both Democratic and Republican. Yesterday, he has faced many of those appropriators in the Senate, and one of the top Democrats essentially said that the US is no safer and no better off since this war began months ago. And obviously, as you mentioned, he said that it's cost the US over $37 billion, but he's also requesting $88 billion for supplemental funding, 67 of that specifically earmarked for the Iran war. There's real questions now about what the strategy is as this war continues, and there seems to be at least no end in sight. And a number of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle essentially said that it's the constant flip-flop. Either on the one hand, from Donald Trump, that Iran wants to settle very badly, and on the other hand, we have seen consecutive days of strikes, 11 days, as you mentioned, and with no clear end in sight.
The head scratcher is the memorandum of understanding. Donald Trump had an option to walk away. It wouldn't have been satisfactory. It wouldn't have guaranteed shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. It wouldn't have guaranteed the Iranians didn't develop a nuclear weapon. But he could have walked away, and yet he's walked back towards it.
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the biggest interesting parts of this whole conflict right now is this uncertainty about what the president's moves are next, and also what kind of political liability this comes. The midterms are coming shortly.
How did you research university? University website, university prospectus, can you someone I trust, an agent.
Shy of trying to continue something that the administration has started.
Representative.
The problem now is how the administration swears this, particularly to voters, as also we've seen 3 service members killed just last week.
But of course, it's not him who suffered for election. It's the members of Congress. And supposedly under the War Powers Act, they do have the power to stop it. Are they prepared to exercise it?
I think the question is now is the back and forth between Congress right now and the administration. Yesterday, the exec was pretty adamant about he believes that the administration.
Which one does your course align with your future career plan? Does not align. As in the course does not align.
Does your
Okay, I thought you said no.
So you put something, any course there that you think you applied for
when it comes to capital resolution and
put MSc, MSc.
Yesterday, so the moderate Republicans said, look, if we grant you this supplemental funding, are you going to take that as a rubber stamp that we get congressional approval for this board, even though that's not what this is saying?
Right, Robert. Really good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.
The new British Prime Minister announced on Tuesday he was cutting VAT on household electricity bills. Today, it's £2 cap on bus fares in England. Andy Burnham says his new government will give people a sense that help is coming. We will be laser focused, he says, on the cost of living. These two measures announced are temporary, and the government
And of course, do you plan to
are
study?
relatively small.
Do you plan to work while you study?
But there are big ticket items still to come. He's proposing a new national care service, price tag of £18 billion a year, and he's already pledged to meet UK. Under Boris Johnson and Claire Ames, the former policy director to Keir Starmer, and now aggressive policy. Claire, let me start with you. £2 cap on bus fares. Will that incentivise the people to take the bus?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, it is just coming down to what it was previously, but I think it's really.
You say once you graduate, how much do you expect to earn per year in your country?
Here, that cost of living is your number one priority.
Once you
And
graduate.
your new government is probably putting
So
first
per month,
make
calculate per
a
month.
revolutionary difference, just like the VAT on
I
energy
think
bills,
it
but they are saying we hear you and we are acting swiftly on
Teach
your
for
priorities.
now
Playing
currently.
around the edges a little
Let's
bit.
say
I mean, it will be popular in some parts of the country, but it's already free for 16 and
Mm.
17-year-olds in
Secondary school.
Manchester, where
Secondary school.
Omni was mayor, and under 22s in Scotland. So
Yeah, once you
it
graduate, I
made
mean,
much difference to that.
which
Nor will
course
it
will you
make
go
much
for?
difference to people in
Yeah.
London, because they
What
already
will the
travel for
cost
less
be?
than
MS
Sorry.
management.
Yes.
Could he have gone further?
I think the wrong framing of it. I just get away
That's
from
a
the
great
idea that the
idea.
government is there just to sort of help us whenever
So
things go wrong.
800K now for everyone.
Okay, business analysis.
UK, the better.
MSc business analysis.
So let's say 800K.
Constantly just
You get.
fucking money
800K,
out
Germany,
in order to
what's it
reduce the
called?
pay today.
Pounds.
The
And
problems
times
that cause the pain. We need to stop just
Especially when you know
emphasizing people
Rwanda.
with the cost of living crisis and spend proper money on the kind of things that make life, less expensive in the long term. But that is investing in infrastructure, that is cutting welfare, that is actually growing the economy.
I hear you, Peter, and I'll come to how we pay for it all in a second. But there's a new report from the Jersey Roundtree just out today. It suggests almost two-thirds of low-income 62% of those families were unable to afford an essential item in the past 6 months, and that's equivalent to 7.4 million households. So the Prime Minister is right. People need a leg up.
Some people need a lot of help, but if you drop the money around and everybody who's got the winter fuel payment before it's been tested, everybody over 60 gets a bus pass. I don't even want mine, for instance. This is not targeting those people who need it. Welfare is spread so thinly that we've got nearly a million people between 16 and 24 are living on that. That is not sustainable. And the more they to help those people in genuine need, not to mention boost the fares and not spend.
But it's right there. If from all sides of the House, actually. I've heard Mel Stride, the Shadow Chancellor, today, say what he'd like to pay for. They talk about how enough, in my opinion, how to grow the economy. I mean, if you were to pull the £18 billion a year for the new national care service with £5 billion a year to spend, that would be more than the transport budget for Heidi Alexander, who was announcing his bus fare cap earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in the long term, you're right. Like, if Andrew Burnham pledged what he's done the last 2 days, every day till Christmas, then we clearly have a significant problem. I think what he's doing is saying to people that we get that life is a struggle, and of course, for people on benefits, particularly as you, but there's lots of people out there who don't get any benefits from the state and who are saying to the government, look, we are really struggling here. So I think what he's saying is, part of what I can do is what he's called give it some breathing space. Now, in terms of a longer strategy, obviously Gito's right. We do need to be growing the economy. We need to be investing in that infrastructure. I meant really wise investments too, not investing in things that are just going to be cut further down the track. But I think this is just an indication of him saying to people, I get the fact that you're struggling now, but yes, of course, I want to see that longer term plan of how we become more productive, how we get the welfare bill down in the end. and how we get more people into work. So that
Well,
we
to
can
do that, you have to invest in business. I mean, it's too expensive to do business, to employ, too many taxes, to incentivise workers to do more. Energy is too expensive. National insurance on young workers. Our productivity as a country is on the floor. I saw a report on Sky News just the other day that we're at a 200-year low. What do we do about it?
Yeah, it's a major issue. And after I left the Starmer's team, I actually chaired the Commission of Businesses for 2 years on how do we tackle that productivity problem. And that's a big part of it, modernising our infrastructure, making sure that we've got technology into our small businesses. We've got brilliant innovations going on in our universities.